the Adult Sports Situation Network, otherwise known as ASSN. I'm your host, 12-inch, and I'm putting my foot down on the World Series. Game 3 just wrapped, and the Yankees look like they need some resuscitation. They need help. Somebody call 911. These bitches are dying on us. Welcome to the Adult Sports Situation Network. This is ASSN, and I'm your host, 12-inch, and we're putting our foot down together with Mike Stats Seibel on the World Series. The Dodgers take a 3-0 lead in the series, and they're on the brink of a championship. What do you gather from that, Mike? What did you gather from this game?
Well, I gather that the Yankees have checked out, gone home. The waiters and waiters you need to tip your waiters and waitresses before you leave in Game 4 here, because it looks like the Yankees have given up.
It looks like they've given up. I mean, and one person they can't contain, whether it's Game 1, Game 2, or Game 3, is Freddie Freeman.
Oh, Freddie Freeman. What a story of this series. I mean, he is on fire. The big man has come through in the series with his third home run today in the first inning. What else could you want from your first baseman? You know, the World Series has unlikely heroes, and Freddie Freeman seems to be one this year.
I mean, honestly, I didn't see this coming into the series. I didn't see Freddie Freeman getting off like this, but right now, currently, okay, he hit a first inning home run, a 2-run shot, and now we're looking at a guy who's actually hit 3 home runs in 3 consecutive games. Has that been done before?
He's made a good case for World Series MVP, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And moving on, Mookie Betts. He had an RBI in the third, extending the lead and adding pressure on the Yankees. I mean, this guy is coming through, and this is the guy they walked last time to get to Freddie Freeman, which started this inferno.
That is true. That is true. But, I mean, and, you know, again, Freddie Freeman made him pay. Not only made him pay in Game 1, but now Game 2 and Game 3.
I'm telling you, he's out here like a tax collector. He's making sure he's getting this, right? He's making sure everybody pays when it comes to that. And then we also have Kiké Hernández in the 6th with a single RBI, solidifying their advantage, winning the game, I believe 4-2. I mean, at this particular point,
the real story is that the Dodgers pitching has come through. It's been by committee in this situation. Walker Buehler, 5 perfect innings today, pretty much. The bullpen comes through all the way to the 9th until Verdugo and Rizzo try to start a rally, get a 2-run shot, but they fall short. I mean, the Dodgers pitching, it's been just incredible for this series. I would have never foreseen this.
No, I didn't see this coming in. Listen, if you would have told me right before the series who's going to win this, or even after Game 1, we had that discussion, that conversation, I still believe that the Yankees, at that time, actually had a real shot of making this very competitive, because they were way too hot, way too good to find themselves in a 3-0 hole.
You know, the good news, though, is free agency probably starts a little bit early this year, so we're going to get our first taste. We get to see if the Cubs have Cody Bellinger opt out of his contract. We're just a couple days away from the Hot Stove League and see what's going on with the free agents, because this one, folks, the Yankees are cooked.
Yeah. I don't see them coming back from a 3-0 deficit. Actually, I'm not even sure if there was ever any team in the World Series that came back from a 3-0 deficit. Can you remember any?
I can't remember any at all. I can't remember anybody coming back from a 3-0 deficit in a 7-series games in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers are blazing their path to a championship to win another World Series. And I didn't foresee this coming in this type of fashion. But these guys are hot. And you know what they say? The saying is, as long as you can get into the playoffs and you get hot at the right time, that's all it takes.
Well, the Dodgers are perennial chokers in this situation. You know, they've always had a good team going all the way back almost to 2016 with the Cubs. You know, they get one World Series win in 20. They get a series appearance against, I believe it was the Boston Red Sox, where they lost. The 1 in 20, it's a COVID year. This is a legitimate year for them. They've got a legitimate team. They've got a team that's put together for the long term. This may be a dynasty.
Yeah, it's starting to look like it. And like you said, this thing has been bubbling since 2016. I mean, this is a team that's been in the running almost every year for years now. Like you said, perennial.
Yeah, but usually they lose in the first round of the playoffs and they don't make it to the series. I mean, that's been their modus operandi for a number of years now. And, this year they got hot. They got hot at the right time. Their pitching staff got hot. They did pretty well. Their hitters are just cranking it. It's a new hitter, every day or every series for them. This series, it's Freddie Freeman. And Freddie Freeman's going to walk home with some hardware. He's going to walk home with that MVP. It doesn't matter if they win in 4, 5, or even 6. They're going to end up winning this, and Freddie Freeman's going to be your MVP.
Yeah, speaking of that, because you went on to game 4, 5, or 6, talking about 5 or 6, what do the Yankees have to do in your, as far as the way you see the game right now, the game that they're playing, the Yankees, and how things are unfolding, what would they have to do to try to change around their fortune?
Well, they're going to need hitting. I mean, they're going to need their hitters. They need Juan Soto to come alive. They need Giancarlo Stanton to come alive, Verdugo to come alive, Rizzo to come alive. I haven't heard any highlights from Gleyber Torres. There were some good highlights from Jay Chapman in game 1, but really they've been all silent in their hitting all across the line. So you got to get more hitting out of this lineup against a disabled Los Angeles Dodgers pitching staff and bullpen.
Well, that's the scary part. If they're disabled and doing this good, imagine what they're going to look like next year.
Well, they could look like that again next year. There's always a drop-off. When you win a World Series, it's one of those things. You've accomplished something, you've done and worked hard and everything else, and you put it out all on the line. I don't know what they're going to have in the tank for next year. Obviously, they're going to have good hitting. They got Betts, they got Ohtani, they got Freeman. They got Edmund. There's just a ton of people that they got coming back in this situation. But you never know what injury bugs are going to bite them. You never know what's going to happen overall. Is Ohtani going to come back on that arm next year? There's a lot of questions going on.
True.
It's just very surprising, though, that the Yankees hitters, a deadly lineup for most of the year, has just gone silent in this series.
Yeah, I can't believe it, man. The Dodgers' key has been consistent hitting and starting off strong, man. Opening up these games strong and then carrying that momentum all the way through to the 9th, to the 10th inning and doing what they need to do to certify themselves. Or I shouldn't say certified, but to put themselves on the brink of another World Series. They are certified. They are definitely.
Does this make Ohtani's season that much more special, having a 50-50 season and then it looks like a World Series win?
Wow. You can't make it even more special than what this is. Especially from him to come here and be on his first year. He's not pitching right now, obviously. And that's another angle to his game that he hasn't even deployed yet, which will probably happen maybe next year. But to come across and get that type of contract and to play that stellar, and then to go out with a World Series, can you imagine? Pretty soon we don't have to imagine.
Well, he's living right, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's 100% true. But the Yankees moving forward, going into Game 4, I really don't know how they're going to turn this around. Like you said, Mike, they're going to need a lot more hitting. But then again, they're going to need a lot more pitching from the Dodgers that's hittable. that sounds more like it, don't you think?
We'll see what they're really made of. Nobody likes to go out in a sweep, period. That's just it. Nobody wants to go out in a sweep. You want to see them have a little bit of moxie, put up a little bit of fight, and at least win one game in this series. To gain some respect, go back home to the Bronx, win in front of their fans one time in the World Series. They haven't seen it for a while out there in New York, probably hungry for a win. Give your fans something to cheer about. And then, maybe even try to get out of New York alive in this series and back to LA. But, otherwise, they're folding up their tent. They're going home. They're getting ready for the winter, and they're going to come back in spring training.
That's sad. You can't do that because sometimes people don't realize
to think that this Yankees team has a little bit of pride left, and they'll go on and win tomorrow.
Well, they got to, man, because the time is now. You can't, try to plan for next year without getting this accomplished. You already got this far. As everybody knows, when it comes to the playoffs or even comes to a league, barring injuries, whatever the case might be, the playoffs or even getting to the World Series is not a given. It's not something that's always going to happen. Things had to fall correctly for you to get this far. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's sad because, you as a Cubs fan, you want to see Rizzo do well in this series, and he scored tonight. Mm-hmm. But, you'd like to see him get another ring. He's one of the last of the bunch left that's out there playing from the 16 World Series and doing well, and you'd like to see him rewarded overall. But, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it this year.
All right, Mike, on this episode, I'm going to let you announce who you think the clutch player of the game is. Who do you think came in clutch today?
It's hard to say Freddie Freeman was not the clutch player of the game in this situation. I mean, maybe it's Ohtani who gets on and adds another run in this situation. But I really think you get it back to Freddie Freeman, or you give it over to the collective Dodgers pitching staff for shutting the Yankees out for 8 innings. I mean, I think that's almost more clutch than the Freddie Freeman home run, because it just shut down the Yankees. It took out their steam and their momentum and everything else, and they're just not hitting. And to keep them shut down for that long, I think the pitching staff did an incredible job.
Well, like I said earlier, Mookie Betts came through. He batted 1 for 4 today. He does have an RBI. Alex Verdugo for the Yankees with 1 for 3 with a homer with 2 RBIs, and that's pretty much the wrap on Game 3. He's kind of looking a little Egyptian around here, huh?
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of Egyptian. They're wrapping up that mummy.
Yes, sir. That mummy is being fully wrapped and sealed with Gorilla Glue. I don't think anybody... The only person I can think who likes to go out on a sweep is a damn janitor. That's about it. Janitors are the only ones who like to go out on a sweep. I don't think the Yankees do. So hopefully they come back and they do something in Game 4 to make this World Series even that much more exciting. But even in that case, being down 3-1, I still don't see that glimmer of hope getting any brighter. Do you?
I don't see it getting any brighter for the Hope. I mean, obviously that's not it. I'm hoping that we're still playing baseball into next week for a variety of reasons, one of which is I don't want to look at this election. And,
I hear you.
One is college basketball doesn't start for a couple more days after that. So, it would be nice to have baseball. I'm not the big football guy. I like the stats of the college. I like basketball. I like baseball a little bit more than the football stats. So, I gotta turn over and get into the college basketball season as it looks to be a great college basketball season with a lot of transfers in the portal. But I'm not ready for it yet. Okay. I'd like to see a little bit more October baseball, maybe even a November baseball. That would be a nice surprise in this situation, and I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that means that means it's a series if we get that far.
It doesn't look like we're going to have November baseball this year. I think this thing's done by Halloween.
Yeah, it is looking scary if you're a Yankees fan. Hey, folks.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Pretty scary.
Pretty scary. That is my co-host, Mike Stats Seibel, our MLB expert. I am your host, 12-inch, and we just put our foot down together, and the Yankees better get it together and do something and make a showing of themselves in this series. But this is ASSN, the Adult Sports Situation Network, so make sure next time we pull up on your YouTube feed, you get your ass.
We have everything you're looking for. We are your complete couture sports store. We have sweaters, we have hoodies, we have sweatpants, mugs, face masks, pillows, leggings, backpacks, blankets, yoga mats, beach towels, and more. We're not your average merch store. With top-end designs, you'll definitely stand out from the crowd. So get your merch now at ASSNsports.com and be on the lookout for our digital calendars coming soon. So get your ass in gear.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?